Hey everybody, this is Donnie from Adex Clubs, and I'm doing another edition of Box Talk. All right, so today's Box Talk, we haven't done this in a while, but today's Box Talk is this is season 2. Sebastian says we're on season 2. Today's Box Talk is going to be going out to Jonathan E. I'm not going to say his last name. He's number 5040. Jonathan E. out in Colorado. If you're your order number 5040, we're packing you up today. So if you're watching, buddy, this is for you. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys today about our starter kits. We are offering our new starter kits, which consist of these really cool 3D printed plastic spacers made by Adjustable USA, and they are in the kit along with a Wildman club handle. That's the fatter one. This is going to be available across all of our club products. The regular weight complement that you are getting, complement that you're getting with this is a 1 1/4 weight, which makes going up in weight easy, a 2.5 pound weight, and a 5 pound weight. And the idea of this is to be able to use the spacer weights on the top of your club so that you can put the weight that you want to use and the thread set right here. And this part is very light. These spacers they weigh almost nothing. And it extends the weight out further. And the reason for this is, and it's very important, for when people learn to swing a club, and I'm going to show you from the back here, so pardon my back, but when people learn to swing a club like a mill, when you use a light club, you bring your hand up this way and the club comes over. Notice the way I'm changing directions by going like this to bring it over. If the club is light, let's say 5 pounds or less, it's easy to do that for 20 repetitions. But when the club gets heavier and that weight comes up and you're keeping your elbow into your side so that you don't stress your elbow a lot as heavier clubs do, the tendency with heavier clubs is to bring the elbow in to protect the elbow from being up here, from letting, let's say, a 15 or 20 pound weight drop from this height and stress your elbow. But back to the movement, the spacer allows for you to feel a more lively club in this area right here. So the club, by pushing the weight out toward the end with those very light spacers, will increase the liveliness of the club, and it'll get you to be a better club trainer faster. You'll understand the dynamics of it more. I hope you understand what I'm saying right there. You know, it's kind of hard to grasp when you're just talking about it and you're in a limited space to show it and not being physically here to put your hands on it. But trust me, these things work, and they cut down like 2 to 4 months at a beginner's training to get them to get to an intermediate stage a lot faster, because they feel the dynamic of the club. And now, instead of pushing the club through the air, they're actually holding a tiger by the tail, and they're controlling the torque of the club, which that's the thing that's going to build the strength with club training. Well, anyway, we'll get back to Jonathan's club here. I'm going to pack this up. So these clubs were already tested out. They were tried with weights on it, or test weights on them. Sebastian was working on this part today. I was doing the boxes. The starter kit is probably, I wish I accepted the spacers much sooner. Years ago, I tried different things to make these spacers, because when I wasn't a good club trainer, I was looking for something to make the club more lively. So you obviously think to put the weight out further, just like the spacers do. So I was doing things like using a pool noodle. And I'm not kidding. I did this. 2011, I did this so that I could test the clubs that way, but I never thought it was going to be a thing. And now it has become a thing, and it's easier for people to train with. and it gets that feel of the club, like I said, to be more lively, and it'll help you. It's like, I don't want to say it's training wheels for the club, but it's like training wheels for the club. It helps you to get going with the regular club training much, much faster. Trust me, 2008, when I started doing clubs, I was a mess all over the place. I didn't know what I was doing. Very limited videos I could find. And then as time went on, of course, more and more people started getting into this type of training. And it, as you guys see, it has become very popular again, like it was 100 years ago when it fell out of style, because club training mimics real life patterns. There's hammer swinging, there is fighting movements, there's grappling movements. Geez, the mill itself, and also the mace training too, is basically for old-time wrestlers to be able to do arm throws over people. So when you see people swinging a heavy mace and they're doing a 360 or a 10-2, that's the same thing as grabbing someone's arm, hiking it up, and doing a hip throw or a shoulder toss, depending upon, your style of fighting, to do that. Also, too, club training emulates punching, it emulates throwing, and golf, tennis, bowling, bowlers, you guys need to do this. And the reason why I'm telling golf, tennis, and bowlers to do this is because you guys are one-side dominant sports. So now we can get the other side out. I don't know how many times I tell you, I've gone to country clubs and I see golfers walking around like this because they're all jacked up. They're high shoulder and they're low shoulder. Bowlers, massive forearm on one side, skinny forearm like spaghetti on the other, because they're not balancing out their body. You balance out your body, you relieve the aches and pains up here, you'll be living good like me. I feel great every day. I feel better than when I was in my 30s. Trust me on that one. I'm looking for some old pictures of myself to show you why I didn't feel good in my 30s. And to be honest, I really wasn't fat. So just couldn't understand why I wasn't healthy. Now health is a more important thing. Health and mobility are more important than looking good or lifting a lot of weight. So stay tuned to more of the stuff that we're doing here because, even though we're a small company, we're pretty much in the forefront of this stuff. Man, we're going to be having programs coming out. You guys just saw me make a mistake there, but we're going to be having more programs be coming out. If you haven't started our follow-along 7-week club training beginner program or our 7-week next club training program, the next one follows the first 7-week one, obviously. Check them out. They're for free on YouTube. Plus, we've got over 300 videos, on our YouTube channel that are mostly instructionals and follow-along workouts. Our stuff is a lot of fun. And, I'm going to say this, that clubs and maces can do, they're specifically weight-loaded to do things that barbells and unfortunately kettlebells can't. This fills in the gaps. Now, I train only with clubs and maces. And like I said, I wish I had the spacers. When I first started out back in, 2008, 9, 10, 11, when I was trying to get good at all this stuff, and it would have made my training a lot easier. But now that we see what they're worth, is your label, Jonathan? Now that we see what they're worth, we're offering them, and they're actually made by an aftermarket company, supplying them to Adex. This is pretty cool. We have an aftermarket company. If you guys are old school hot rodders, you know that everything in the world was made for a small block Chevy motor, a small block Ford motor first, and then they went on to the other brands. But, just saying that, I'm kind of honored that people are doing that for me. It's kind of cool. It's pretty iconic. But anyway, Jonathan, thank you for your order. You're going to love your starter kit, your Wildman starter kit. All you other guys, if you're thinking about purchasing an Adex club, this is the cheapest way to get involved with us that's got the actual weight kit and something that's a little more beneficial to help making you get to be a great club swinger a lot easier. This stuff is a lot of fun and it keeps you strong as hell. See you guys on the platform. Peace. Thank you, Jonathan.